this guy's a do-it-yourselfer, he'd probably tackle a job like that. He's Darren Dreger, TSN Hockey Insider, joining us on the Crystal Waters Insider Hotline. Hello, Dregs.
Gentlemen, let me just be honest and very clear and to the point here. A garage heater is a game changer.
Oh,
it's a game changer.
Yeah.
The house that I'm in the home studio here, when we moved in 5+ years ago, we had a full renovation. Fortunate enough to have a big 3.5 car garage. So as part of the package, I'm like, I am turning this into a man cave.
Yep.
And I did it. The big screen TV, the bar.
wow.
Yeah, I got Mike Keenan's old Mercedes parked in there.
Are you serious?
Dead serious, yeah. 1985 380 SL convertible.
Are those little bottles of Jack Daniels still falling out of the heater vents and stuff when you drive?
No.
Some of that wax he used to rub on his head before getting
all of that. I don't know, man. I don't think I've ever looked in the glove box or under the seats. I don't want to find whatever he was stashing in there.
Yeah, just as well.
Yeah, it was a barn find.
Yeah.
He actually had it. I went to visit him years ago, like a decade ago, up at his cottage, and we go through some of his outbuildings, and here's this car under a tarp. I'm like, what are you doing with that thing? It hasn't moved in forever. He got it, actually. It's a good story. He got it back in the day. Was it 85? The Flyers went to the Stanley Cup final and got thumped by Gretzky and the Oilers. And he didn't have a bonus or any sort of stuff in his contract as coach of the Flyers. So Ed Snyder, the late Flyers owner, said, you know what? You did a hell of a job. We weren't even supposed to make the playoffs. Wow. Gave him this 380 SL. And so he just parked it in his cottage garage. And finally I said to him, like, just sell it to me. I mean, it's rotting here doing nothing. So eventually he did.
So now it's rotting in your garage.
Oh, no, that's not true. It's it's well looked after. It's in a heated garage. Compliments of the nice and cozy garage heater.
Yeah.
And I probably drive it 10 times a summer. Just cruising. It's a beautiful cruising machine.
God, it'd be something to see you just cruising in that Dregs. That would be a vision.
Yeah, it's a vision, all right. Yeah, it's something else. On occasion, I'll put Tiny, the Great Dane, in the back. It's a 2-seater, right? But there's just enough room for the dog. So
his head's over the windshield.
I can just see Dregs has got the big off season, right? Because you insiders work so hard from training camp right through the end of the playoffs.
Yeah,
off to the butcher to get some for the smoker. Tiny in the back. Beautiful,
living the dream.
Living
the dream. That's what it is.
Yeah,
but it all look at this car wouldn't have the proper home if I didn't build the man cave and get it properly heated. So there you go, Boomer. You're in good hands.
Yep, good for you, buddy. That's, you know what, between staying at home to watch the Grey Cup with your wife and rescuing people's Mercedes Benzes and that, you're a man of the people. I mean, you just keep giving back. Sort of help. Congrats on your Grey Cup win, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, there was enough drama in that game. I wasn't deeply invested, but I did watch. I watched the whole thing, even halftime. And normally the halftimes of the Grey Cup are like the eye roll, right? You're like, what are we like? This you can't even call it Super Bowl light because it's not that. But who was it? MGK? Is that who it was?
Yeah,
Machine Gun Kelly. It was pretty solid. Pretty solid. It's not my vibe, but I enjoyed it. It's all good. Yeah.
I Googled who he was, and then I saw there was a woman he dated or something, and then I went down that.
Oh, no.
Distracted, yeah.
What sites were you on?
Anyway.
On board
and clear browser.
Delete history.
Yeah. What's going on today, Dregs? I know we're going to get you out of here on time. You got a big important interview coming up. I know you didn't dress up for us, so but that's all right. I guess we can start anywhere.
Probably there. I mean, we've got news on Connor Hellebuyck that he's going to be absent for a bit. What do you know? What are they dealing with? And when was the decision made to get the procedure done?
Yeah, the decision was made this week. It's been lingering. I mean, this is an issue that surfaced in training camp with the Winnipeg Jets. Obviously, he tweaked something, felt like he could play through it. But when you look at the workload of Connor Hellebuyck, I mean, this has been one of those sticking points for our goalie gurus, the many analysts across network television who look at his workload and go, ooh, eventually he's going to break down. So maybe this fuels that argument. I don't know. But for a lot of different reasons, most importantly being the second half of the regular season and the Jets want to win a Stanley Cup. They felt like, look, no sense trying to play through this anymore. Why are we allowing this to linger? It sounds like it's a pretty simple arthroscopic procedure. So he'll get that done imminently here, and he'll be shelved for 4 to 6 weeks. So, there's also that Olympic voice out there, and people going, oh, well, clearly the decision was made collectively with Team USA and the Jets and Hellebuyck to make sure that he's ready to go for the Olympic Games in Italy. He will be ready to go unless there's something ridiculous that goes unexpectedly. But no, I mean, this is all about the Jets and making sure that he's healthy in the second half of the season. And the fact that, Bill Guerin and Team USA fully expects and believes that he will be ready well in advance of the trip to Italy is a bonus. So that's the news of the day coming out of Winnipeg.
I don't know if you caught the broadcast here a couple nights ago. Flames and Sabres, probably not appointment television for common NHL fans, but Don Maloney, the president of Hockey Ops, was on at the intermission on the Flames broadcast and said the word rebuild. Looked like he remembered he shouldn't say the word rebuild, then said rebiggle, which I don't think is a word, and then said retool, but really didn't inspire any confidence in the fan base or any sense that the team is acknowledging that they're in last place with potential franchise-altering players at the top of the draft. Did that get out of the local scene, like nationally? Did that get any buzz? Because the fan base is up in arms here. It felt like they were talked down to, or just that the front office is incompetent, and maybe neither are true, but it did not go well. Well,
the sense that I get from my sources there, the only way ownership is going to embrace a rebuild, I'll use any of those R words, but effectively they mean the same thing. They've tried to transition on the fly. It worked last year for parts. It hasn't worked at all, even close this year. But in order to reconstruct, retool, rebuild, I think that Edwards and company would be okay with it, provided there is a plan from Craig Conroy that doesn't show this is going to be a 7 to 9 year ordeal. And who's getting who? If you're talking rebuild, that's really what you're talking about. And you just look at all the other markets that have gone through it. Detroit is finally coming out of it, but it took the majority of a decade for the Detroit Red Wings to claw out of that. And with a new building on the horizon, how sustainable is that financially for everyone around the Calgary Flames organization? And I'm sure that's a question that Edwards and company will ask of Conroy. And what is your plan? A full rebuild, that's tough to do with the contracts that you have, the pieces that you have. And they've got some good young players that are coming too, right? My understanding is, I don't dive deep into the American Hockey League, but it sounds like they've got a couple of players there, maybe more, that are on the cusp, should be good NHL players. You look what you've got, at the NHL level, Coronado and Dustin Wolf and some other elements. So again, what are we talking about when we use one of those R words? Retool or renovate? Yeah, that makes sense, because you can envision moving Kadri and Rasmus Anderson, maybe some other pieces, but a full rebuild, that's a tough one.
They might be forced into it anyway, though. I think that's the annoying part from the fan base, is that they can pretend that they're not going to have to. They're in 32nd. They're in last place. And if you don't embrace it, you're only making it worse. That's how you end up with a 7 or 8 or 10 year rebuild.
Yeah, Rhett made a good point yesterday. He said it's going to take longer. If you can speed this up. If Murray doesn't want 7 to 10 years, Rhett, why are we?
Chew on some money for some of these guys and get returns for them. That's where they need to recognize the trouble is going to be. We all think last year was a success. Boom, made it. In what way? They didn't make the playoffs. There was no playoff revenue. There was success because you got to enjoy the guys competing, and absolutely you give them credit for that. But there's no success. That's not winning. That's losing well. And they've done a lot of that over the last 40 years. The last time, there's been twice in the history of the Calgary Flames where they've put together builds. The one time they won the Cup in '89, and that's so far ago. And I love making fun of the '89 team because they wear their rings around town and they're all braggy and it's great. But they're Hall of Famers. It was an amazing time to be a Flames fan. And the other time they did it was not long ago. Gaudreau, Monahan, Bennett, Tkachuk. All high-end. I mean, Gaudreau was a 4th round, but it was an absolute steal in the 4th round. And the other guys were top 6 picks.
Yeah.
and they made the team good and consistently good. They're not. If you think you can piss that away and just buy a guy here or sign a guy there, it ain't going to happen. I think the annoyance for the fans comes from the fact that they're trying to pretend that they aren't in a rebuild, and you're 32nd. Is there any other teams that finish 32nd that don't go, geez, we better...
Yeah.
Nashville, what are they doing? Well, probably everyone's for sale. St. Louis is in a tough spot. What are they saying in St. Louis?
Yeah.
You want someone? Call us. Why are the Flames refusing to say this stuff? That's what I don't understand. You can try it, and it only feels like, and I'm speaking from the fans' point of view, it feels like you're trying to fool us. It truly comes across as they don't know what they're doing. Let's pull one over on them.
Is
and
it
it's
too
wrong.
early though? Is it too early for this? And I
no,
mean,
because good hockey. Well, I don't know if you consider any of the three of us idiots good hockey minds, but we have been saying for a long time this team is not designed to compete with top end teams. They just aren't. Without Wolf and I said this, Dregs. Now I'm babbling away, and we have you on to talk. Who's made the turn this year the most? The Sharks.
Yeah.
The Blackhawks, Anaheim.
Yeah.
What are those three found in the last year? Spencer Knight, Askarov, and I can't say the guy's name in Anaheim. Dostal.
Yeah.
We have Wolf. So let's add the other pieces and just admit what we are.
Yeah. Well, the reason I say, is it too early, is because to do that and be successful at it, they should have made that determination, if that's the case, last year and in the off season, right? Because I'm sure you did multiple times, because look, we're always reminded every single year that if you're trying to meaningfully change your organization in season, you're going to get disappointed. You're going to make a dumb trade at the trade deadline where you overpay for a player. Maybe he's a rental guy that doesn't help you, right? And I'm not looking at it from Calgary's perspective. I'm looking at it from the buyers. The one thing, and this tells me that Conroy hasn't made this determination yet. I talk to teams every single day, and there are no shortage of general managers looking to buy. Kent Hughes of the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, I know that St. Louis was all over that Habs game last night. So maybe there's something going on between the Blues and the Montreal Canadiens, but they have a stockpile of good young talent in Montreal, and he's ready to pay. Within reason? Don't know, but we always know there's flexibility in the system in the offseason to make bolder deals. Trying to do it now, it feels a little bit early. In season, perhaps, but 20 games in is a little bit early.
Because I'm hot about this right now, I'll bring up two things. Why in the F weren't the Calgary Flames at that game then? Because if they're not recognizing, and St. Louis is, and you miss out an opportunity, shame on you.
They may have been. I mean,
and secondly, you mentioned Conroy, and I brought this up yesterday, and I have no insight. Are they split? There seems to be a lot of chefs in the kitchen of the Flames front office. Are they split in what direction to go, or are they on the same page?
I don't get the sense that they're split, but I don't, I always find it's challenging when you've got a decent rapport with the general manager. I think it can be a little disrespectful to go above or around him for information. And that's not to say that I don't talk to other people in the Flames organization. Of course I do. I mean, people know my history with Dave Nonis. I mean, I've known him for 100 years, so we have conversations, but I don't get the sense that there's a split or a disconnect in that management group. I historically have heard that, I don't know how involved Jerome McGinley is now, but we know that, he and Connie have history together. They're very good friends. And why wouldn't you lean on the experience, the eye of Jerome McGinley? Hey, what do you see? What do you think? Mm-hmm. But I honestly, there are a number of organizations around the league where you do have that sort of, not everybody's on the same page. I don't get that feel out of Calgary yet. I don't.
So can I rephrase the question? Do you think that this management team wants to do something and now the task is to convince the owner?
It might be early for that. It might be, but
this season, like generally speaking,
if things continue, if they're 32nd and things
how
continue.
Can they not though?
Exactly.
That's the point, right? How can you not? I mean, but you're not getting the same level of offense by a long shot So how can you not go, okay, we have pieces that other teams want. Murray Edwards doesn't want to trade Nazem Kadri. But if you're a non-playoff team, maybe Nazem Kadri, who loves Calgary, gets into the second half and goes, all right, well, I mean, here are the 3 teams that I'm willing to go to or whatever it is, because I do at this stage of my life and career want to vie for another Stanley Cup. Well, that's changing, right? And then if that presents, well, what choice does Conway have? You go to the owner and go, look, I can get great value for these guys. And my professional opinion is we have to do this.
Why? I don't disagree with you, but if they think it's early, I have a hard, I don't think it's early. I've watched enough.
No. Only early in the sense here, guys, that you got to maximize your return.
Okay.
You got to maximize your return. I keep talking about Kent Hughes, or I keep talking Brad Treliving. You guys know Tree. I mean, he's in every conversation, but the one critical thing that always flies back at him is, but he doesn't pull the trigger. So, I mean, you've got teams who want to be buyers to a point, but okay, step up. I watched that Montreal game last night. People keep pointing fingers at the goaltender. Sam Montembeault was no good, but defensively they look lost out there, right? And they're dinged up. They need help up front. So is there a top 6 forward that the Calgary Flames would consider parting with? Maybe. But then that's on Ken Hughes to go, well, I'm going to make it a difficult decision for you to make at this point of the year, because I'm probably going to overpay. Jimmy Rutherford did that forever and still tries to do it in Vancouver.
Did it with Lindholm 2 years ago here.
Yeah, why not? Get ahead of the curve, because we know what happens when you get after U.S. Thanksgiving. It feels like that 20-game line is pushing now. We're probably looking at 30 games, but somebody's going to make a move. Somebody is going to overpay for a player that matters. And I feel like that's what maybe is needed in Calgary. Somebody's got to call Connie and go, okay, I want player X, and here's what I'm willing to give you for that player, and make him think about it. And if he declines and we find out after the fact that he turned down this, and that for a piece, well, then he'll have to live with the wrath that's sure to follow.
Yeah, it's funny though. What I'm hearing is 2 things. One is that, yeah, if they had the haul they want for these guys, they're open to moving them. But I'm also hearing well, if Nazem wants to leave, then I guess, we're obliged. And it's why can't the plan just be, if we're in this spot, we can turn older assets into younger players? They won't say it. They will not acknowledge that they have a plan for this. And that's insulting.
Do you think it could be somewhat financially motivated?
Certainly.
In a Canadian market, again, with a new building, because as soon as fans hear one of those R words, guess what they're not doing? Buying tickets.
Yeah, but you know what else they're not doing right now? They're not going to the games to watch a
low-scoring older team that's going to miss the playoffs.
Right.
For the 5th straight year.
And look, maybe you hurt some revenues for spring, but God, if you have Verhoff or McKenna coming in, that will sell tickets in a new building.
Do you truly believe that, Dregs? I mean, you would know more about it. Does, in a city like Calgary, do you think the fan base, let's play funsies, and they dump a few guys and they stay in 32nd or in the bottom couple teams? Do you think that is going to affect the bottom line? Because I feel like most of the people that buy season tickets here have bought them for 40 years.
Yeah.
And will continue to buy them for 40 years. And they're not going to fool anyone unless they look like they're going to be really good. It's not going to make it easier for these people to cough up the money for the new arena.
Right.
If they're middling or worse.
Right.
But if the fans can see, they've got some core pieces, I think ticket sales are easier.
Yeah, maybe. I'm reminded of the conversation I had with Mark Chipman last October, so 13, 14 months ago, when they went through that similar, they were in a similar predicament, and they're facing the Hellebuyck and the Scheifele extensions, and Chipman did his due diligence, talked to the people in Detroit, talked to the teams that went through a rebuild, and just made the educated financial call as owner of the Winnipeg Jets that they could not sustain a 7, 8, 9-year rebuild. The fans would turn. That's Winnipeg. So so they were fortunate enough to get those two guys to sign on, and now they've just continued to figure out and to lock down their core. So I guess we'll never know. But that was the view of one Canadian owner, and it could be shared by Murray Edwards in Calgary. It might be.
Yeah, and look, what you said is entirely accurate with Winnipeg. They also had a good team to re-sign, and B, it's a market half the size with less financial wherewithal than Calgary. So you can keep going with Rasmus and Huberdeau, and you can re-sign Anderson and Uyghur. Doesn't mean you're good. Like Winnipeg was actually good at the starting point of this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a team that we have to watch, right? And the little things, by the way, I don't know. I want to mention about the waiver pickup of Johnny Beecher, only because there are things that just make me shake my head from time to time. And look, Don Sweeney is a decorated general manager, been in that chair a long, long time, real smart dude. So I just can't believe that you couldn't get something back for Johnny Beecher. And the reason I say that is the number of teams that didn't know, apparently, that they were going to put him on waivers. Like, do you not put out that call or that email or whatever to just say, hey, if you tell the world you're putting him on waivers, then everybody goes, all right, well, I guess he's going on waivers. But I get, like, Montreal would have claimed him.
And Flames had first priority. Is that correct?
What's that?
Flames had first priority in the waivers.
Yeah.
So there might have been like 6-7 claims. We don't know.
It's interesting because Marco Sturm, it was not one of those, he's a good kid. He just didn't have room. He did kind of bury him.
So it buried him.
It feels like there was something going on there. They just almost like get him out of here kind of.
Wow. I know that organization, their development group, pretty well. I don't know how Johnny Beecher is going to fare in Calgary. What I do know with certainty is that it's hard to find big, fast, versatile forwards for free. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And the motivation meter on this kid has got to be through the roof. It has to be, because he was in purgatory in Boston. It didn't matter what he did. He just was not getting into that lineup. And I saw the Marco Sturm comment, and I was surprised because Marco's a respectful guy. You can't say Johnny Beecher didn't get a chance in Boston. Of course he did. He got a chance. But to kick him on the way out, I didn't like it. I just think the reason I think it's an excellent pickup by Calgary, and you know what? 2 months from now, we may look back and then, he hasn't really done anything. It's based on the feedback that I get from other clubs going, well, I might have thrown a draft pick at him. Something like, again, because these reclamation projects with young guys like this and the skill set that he has, what if he gets it? What if Ryan Huska is the coach? What if the Calgary Flames have the staff and the wherewithal to motivate this kid into being a top 6 forward? Got him for free, for heaven's sake.
Well, they didn't get him for free, but Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
Speaking of young guys, the debate a month ago was, is it possible for Macklin Celebrini or Connor Bedard to crack this roster? Are we past that? I mean, they're dominating. I saw people have them as
for the Olympic team,
second and third. Sorry, what did I say? They
didn't say it.
Okay, yeah, for the Olympics in Italy, like, they're going to get some heart votes if they keep playing the way they're playing now. How do you not take these guys? Like, is Hockey Canada at risk of examining their way out of it? Like, they didn't take 706 and they were awful. Like, you have to take these kids, don't you?
Yeah, no, you don't have to.
Well, without looking a little foolish?
Well, as a fan, you would look at it and say, yeah, that doesn't make sense because of the offensive numbers. But Pinder, you especially, I think, are a numbers guy, right?
Yeah,
so you look at the data. Look at his underlying defensive numbers.
Bedard or Celebrini?
No, Bedard.
Okay.
They're not good. They're very, very poor. So the reason I bring it up that way, and you can say, yeah, but he's on a bad team. I mean, a team that's kind of turned a little bit this year. But now you put your coaching hat on, and you're looking at all these future Hall of Famers and superstars that'll make up Team Canada. And you're like, all right, well, he's not going to play in our top 6.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, you might, but I mean,
who's celebrating Bedard on McDavid's wings? That's where I'd put him. Let him score. Let the other guys defend.
Yeah, and, but who are you taking out of the mix here? Is Marner not making your team?
No, I sort of think that Konechny, Cirelli,
Konechny won't make the team.
Bennett,
either way,
Wilson.
Yeah, it was going to be. Geez, man, it's feeling like
he wins.
Yeah, it feels like more of a who's missing out as opposed to do these guys deserve to go.
Yeah, like I don't know that I would send Mark Schreiber to this tournament ahead of either of these guys because there's also something to be said for that continuity of the next World Cup in 2 years.
Sure, and don't forget though that it's an enhanced roster, so it's 25 now, right? Okay. But I mean, we checked into this yesterday prior to our insider trading segment. The offensive numbers tell you it doesn't make sense. But he, being Bedard, is on the outside looking in. Celebrini is, unless something happens, he's going to make the team because he's a more complete player.
Sure.
And they can envision Macklin Celebrini having to kill penalties. They can envision him embracing the checking role in the bottom six if that's what's needed. And I just don't think they feel the same way about Connor Bedard because they don't. They just don't. And, Tom Wilson's having a hell of a season. Do you take Bedard ahead of Tom Wilson? I think, again, you would probably go, yeah, I do. I don't, because even though the international game is different, the officiating is twitchy at best, there isn't going to be fighting. You are playing on an NHL arena in Italy.
Not big ice.
And the game that you're matching up for is against USA. And those two pricks, Matthew and Brady, are just gonna have that's what part of their lure and what makes them special players is exactly why I call them that. I love them.
Yeah.
And they wear that with a badge of honor. But I don't know. Maybe if Tom Wilson is lining up opposite to them, maybe they just settle down a little bit. Maybe he's a neutralizer. I don't know.
The Rob Zaminer is only a Rob Zaminer comment because they didn't win.
Yeah.
So
just like when they didn't take Sid in 06. Yeah. Like if you win gold, no one ever questions it. But when
Well, Drakes, we'll let you get out of here and get ready for that. I was going to ask just, are the Oilers a team to watch here, or is patience a virtue? Because it's not.
No. I think that Bowman is willing to give it another couple of weeks. So that pushes you upwards to the 30 game mark. I mean, he sees everything we see. Their goaltending is always a factor. It's an issue now. Although Pickard, boy, he was good last night, man. He was good. Defensively, they need to be better. They need to be better in a lot of different areas. So patience is wearing thin in Edmonton, but I'd still give them another 10 days to 2 weeks to really assess.
Tremendous.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you.
Okay, guys. Good luck with that garage heater, by the way.
Thank you, sir. I'm very excited.
In the right direction.
And Crystal Waters, they're the sponsor. They said, we're doing garage heaters because not just you could put a TV up in there, maybe a man cave. Yeah. Darren Dreger subscribing to that.
I love it. Good luck.
Nice.
Okay, boys. Have a great weekend.
Hey, buddies. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.